Hey guys, welcome to our channel today. We'll be looking at the economic condition of Russia and how this Ukraine invasion has caused Russia to become so weak. It's like they're walking on a thin layer of ice and it could break any time. So stick with us and we'll tell you exactly what's happening in Russia. How the Russian people are suffering because of a barbaric decision. In times of crisis, we should remember that normal people don't seek war or damage. If Russia is attacking Ukraine, the Russians have no contribution to this, and they're suffering too. The Western sanctions have made the Russians panic. There is loss on both sides, chaos on both sides, and innocent people are getting heavily affected by what's going on between the countries right now. We've witnessed Russian mothers and wives calling the Ukraine helpline to know about their sons or husbands. And it breaks my heart to hear them ask the Ukrainians on the other side, are they alive? Guys, this is heartbreaking and I hope Putin learns his lesson and knows that the world is free now. He is a president, not a king. Russia might or might not be winning in the Ukraine invasion, but on the other side, I mean the economic side of Russia, it's losing to a whole new level. I don't know if Russia invading Ukraine would be historic, but Russia becoming the weakest country in the next couple of years definitely will. With the Russians saying Putin can keep Russia, but we're out. There's a long queue at the airport. Russians with their passport impatiently waiting to leave the country. This corporate boycott has led to an economic crisis with the common people losing a lot of money. Putin at this point seems like a dictator trying to retain the Russian public as they're hardly being allowed to leave. And the authorities are making sure that they come back. They said that they're closely questioned at the airport and they had to prove that they would be back. In Russia, Boeing and Airbus have stopped parts supplies. Car manufacturing companies like Ford, BMW, Jaguar, Volvo, Mitsubishi, and Honda are stopping their car exports to Russia. Walt Disney, Sony, Warner Brothers, and Disney will not be releasing new movies in Russia. There's no Apple Pay in Russia, and there won't be any Apple in Russia anymore. The Russians now have no link to any Western commodities, and the generation there are very upset about it. That's not all. Starbucks, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, McDonald's, they've all pulled their sales on halt in Russia. Pepsi and McDonald's were the corporate pioneers in maintaining a good relationship with the post-Soviet Union Russia, improving international relations. McDonald's also said they would go on paying 62,000 of their employees in Russia to over 847 restaurants, which are now non-operational. This is a sad thing to see as McDonald's was a symbol of flourishing American capitalism as the Soviet Union fell. But imagine 62,000 people are now unemployed. This cannot be good from any angle. Even Jeffrey Sonnenfeld, a professor at Yale University, pointed it out as an impactful move made by McDonald's to rebuke the symbol of good relationship held between the US and Russia. PepsiCo said they would stop the supply of cold drinks, but they would not put a halt on basic and essential items like milk and baby food. But Coca-Cola is planning on suspending its business completely. This is also symbolic in a way, as Coca-Cola was the official drink during the 1980 Olympic Games held in Moscow. That's not all. Many companies have rebuked Moscow, including Amazon.com Inc. On Tuesday, they said that they will stop accepting new customers for their cloud services in Russia and Ukraine. Universal Music suspended all operations in Russia. The online dating app Bumble Inc. will also remove its app from stores in Russia and Belarus. Royal Dutch Shell plc stopped buying oil from Russia, and they said that they would cut links with the country immediately. The United States has already stepped up and started its campaign to make Moscow pay as they're banning all oil and energy imports. The CEO of Shell, Mr. Ben Van Buren, said, "We are acutely aware that our decision last week to purchase a cargo of Russian crude oil to be refined into products like petrol and diesel, despite being made with the security of supplies at the forefront of our thinking, was not the right one, and we are sorry." Shell's rival BP plc and Exxon Mobil Corp also announced that they would sell all Russian holdings and leave the country, leaving France's Total Energies alone as an investor in the Russian holdings. Russia is now getting isolated as all the businesses are stepping away from the borders and symbolically saying, "You're no good" to Putin. The market graph can be seen swinging with the oil and metal cargoes reversing, and traders are in turmoil thinking about what's to come. Russian invasion has been condemned around the world, with 1.5 million refugees scattered across the borders, seeking shelter in the neighboring countries. Things are very bad for Ukraine. The Russians, on the other hand, are isolated by the US sanctions, and they're caught in a cyclone of a huge economic crisis. and the other countries had their mouth wide to see a demise of such a large economy. This can cause a global recession, and oil prices are going to touch the sky this year. Jeffrey Alley, a senior analyst at the Oanda, said, "I suspect growth projections for 2022 around the world will need to be sharply revised lower, and it will be interesting to see what the central banks of the world will do. But the increasing prices of raw materials could affect the economic growth in many countries when they're still recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic." The Western sanctions have managed to put a huge dent in Russia's economy, and with the UK joining in, it won't be too long until Russia would be the poorest country in the world. Will China help them? Well, that's for a later video, but let's continue with what's changing in Russia. Britain also has joined the game as they're slowly cutting off imports from Russia, gradually phasing them out during the year as they look for other alternate supplies. LME, London Metal Exchange, is no longer trading with Russia, putting a halt to nickel, which is a very important metal component used in batteries that make up electric cars. It's not just nickels, but palladium to aluminum. Everything is getting affected. The industry supply chains have been. Volkswagen AG said that they would now stop taking orders from numerous plug-in hybrids. The rising supply chain issues have led to production delays caused by chip shortages. The car manufacturers stopped factories on Russian soil and stopped their production in Germany in several factories as they faced problems with a shortage in components. Mining group BHP praised their concerns over the whole scenario, pointing out that the surge in the commodity could spill over, causing massive growth in inflation and also altering growth on a global scale. Now, these are the things that are happening after the Western imposed sanctions. This is a very smart move. If NATO had fought alongside Ukraine, then things would have been even more difficult and dangerous. Putin already made hints about a nuclear assault, so the Western countries played safe and sabotaged their economy. Sure, this will affect the global economy health as well, but this was bound to happen. Now Russia's currency is currently valued at lower than 1 cent. This economic policy is very harsh on Russia, and the first time when a country faced this sort of free out. Will Russia run out of money? The answer is yes. But now they don't even have a good value for their money, and they're losing all of it. Mass migration is foreseen where Russians will leave the country to settle somewhere else. Putin can have Russia. The Russians are leaving. Let's pray for all those heavily affected by this unfortunate event. An event caused by a man who thinks a Jewish man is a Nazi and is paranoid about his reign. Russia never could have a good economy under his rule, and he's just making it worse. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like videos like this, then do subscribe and comment below what do you think about this scenario. And don't forget to ring the notification bell. Next up, we will see if China will aid Russia during this economic crisis or not. Until then, take care. Thank you.